Hi, I'm Matt Chaplin. I'm a co-founder of Theorem Performance and Lifestyle, and I'm the head strength and conditioning coach for the UFE Cascades. Today we're going to be walking you through a test procedure for a new fitness test. This is a test that will help basketball players assess where they're at with their fitness level, and it is as close to a game simulated situation as we could possibly design. In our rules here at the U Sport level, we have a shot clock of 24 seconds, and so we're going to be using that as our interval. I believe that's also the shot clock time frame for FIBA, so it's a really great international test for those of you who are playing international basketball. The way the test works is quite simple, so we're going to walk over here. The distance from the foul line to the end line is approximately 5.75 meters, or close to 18 foot 10 to 19 feet. So we're going to use that as our standard distance, and we're going to have a test basically go from foul line to baseline, and then we'll go across the court for a transition, and we'll go foul line to baseline for a second portion of our test. We're going to repeat that 3 times, and I'm going to describe in a second here what that will all look like. So our testers will start on the foul line, or the foul line extended, so that you can have multiple testers at the same time. And they're going to have one foot on the foul line itself, and the other foot can be close to the baseline. For the first portion of the test, or the first half of each round, testers will do a sprint shuttle over the distance, so the 5.75 meters. So a sprint shuttle will look like, as soon as the whistle goes, they'll turn and sprint, touch the end line with their hand, and touch the foul line or the foul line extended with their hand, going back and forth as fast as possible for 24 seconds. Once the buzzer goes for the shot clock, you'll have a 5-second transition period, which is about the amount of time that's allowed to inbound the ball. So you have a 5-second transition period to get across the court to the next foul line on the other side. So we'll pretend that the buzzer went. I have a counter who's going to be tallying the number of touches here. I think it's going to end up being something between like 12 to 16 touches, depending on the speed of the athlete. And then that 5-second transition period, we jog over. So we'll make it over here, hopefully before the 5 seconds are up and the whistle goes for the next one. But even if I don't make it there in the time, the timer's begun, and my next window of testing opportunity is already started. So I have to try to get here pretty quick in 5 seconds. On this side, I'll start again on the foul line, and I'm going to be doing a defensive slide or a side shuffle. So very similar to what you would have in a T-test. It doesn't have to be form tight. It can be something that's just very explosive. So I'll drive across and touch the line, going back and forth without crossing my feet over, and I have to go horizontally, so side to side, for as many touches as I can in the next 24 seconds. So this is our second shot clock, and essentially what's happened is we've done an offensive possession to start, we've had a 5-second transition period and had a defensive possession where we've run out the entire clock, and then we head back. We have another 5-second transition period to start back for round 2. So we'll have round 2, a sprint shuttle and a shuffle, and then we'll have round 3, sprint shuttle, and then a shuffle. After 3 rounds of that are complete, we're going to have a long timeout. So we're going to have a 1-minute break. That 1-minute break is going to allow us to kind of reset. Our counters will have a chance to kind of take a look at our total numbers. We'll have that all recorded in real time. And then we're going to begin a second round. So it'll be, again, a sprint shuttle for 24 seconds, 5-second transition period, a shuffle shuttle for 24 seconds, and that will repeat itself 3 times for that second cycle. Once the whole thing is complete, we're going to get some really, really good data analytics from that. Okay, our hope is that we're going to get to see a degradation for the sprint, so we'll see what people look like when they're fresh, and then the next series through, we get to see their next sprint, the next series through, we get to see their next sprint. We'll also get to see the overall touches and sort of get an analytic on how well people are doing from one cycle to the second cycle, and how much energy they lose even after that 1-minute timeout. We're really hopeful for this test. We think that this is going to be a really great way to assess sort of a really game-specific fitness level. And I'm now just finished talking about it. We're going to go and we're going to do it. So I'm actually kind of nervous. That's why I'm kind of talking a lot. I'm going to be doing it myself. So I'm going to warm up a little bit. We're going to get the camera set up, and then Kelsey is actually going to be running the test for me using our timer. To eliminate the potential for confusion here, our description in this video was a first trial ever description. We decided that we were going to try 24-second intervals for the testing portion and have 5-second transition intervals. That's why you're seeing a lot of edits with an asterisk and 10 seconds. In the second trial, we realized that it was going to be a bit more appropriate to have a 10-second transition period. So how the test is run is you're going to have 3 rounds of 24 seconds of sprint shuttle, 10-second transition, 24 seconds of shuffle shuttle, and a 10-second transition. So 3 rounds of that creates a cycle. Once the cycle is complete, you have a 1-minute rest period, and then you begin the second cycle, which is another 3 rounds of 24 seconds of sprint shuttle, 10-second transition, and 24 seconds of shuffle shuttle with a 10-second transition. Hopefully this eliminates any of the confusion. Later in this video, you'll see we're going to describe some of the changes that we made to make sure that the second trial was a bit easier to do, or a bit more manageable to do, I should say. So what we're seeing here is the 5-second transition, and you can see I'm running very, very short on time. It transitions immediately right into it, and as the test proceeds, doing the 5-second transitions, you'll see that I barely make it to the start line as I get more and more exhausted. So during trial 1, it's just kind of a neat way to see how much degradation happens over the course of the test. But you'll see in trial 2, we have a bit more appropriate transition periods. And so I'll let you enjoy me suffering through this test, and then we'll see a different version of it coming up after this test is done. Oh, so that wraps up trial 1. We walked you through the procedures for that. I'm gassed. This is me after taking about 10 minutes rest after that, so it's a pretty tough test. We've taken another thought. We're going to do a second trial here now with Kelsey doing the test. What we had there was a 5-second transition between the 24-second shot clocks, or the 24-second intervals. We're going to try it now with a 10-second transition period. I think the 10-second transition period will give us something a bit more realistic. It's definitely doable if you're going at top end speed, and if you're in shape, you probably can make it in the 5 seconds. It's a good way to challenge yourself on the test, or maybe a good way to train if you're trying to train at above intense. But I think the 10-second transition will give us something a little bit closer, just given like inbounds and then bringing the ball across half, and hopefully that all together will give our athletes a chance to kind of transition over to the other side of the court and be able to give their best. So my numbers coming off that test, with only the 5-second transitions, I had a total number of 57 touches, both my sprints and my shuttles for the cycle 1. So that's 3 there and backs. I also had 45 touches total on cycle 2 for a grand total of 102 touches. I think that's pretty competitive. I hope that's competitive. Again, Kelsey's about to do it for trial 2. She's going to do it with 10-second transition periods. We're going to see how that goes. She also is a former international level basketball player and NCAA basketball player. So her energy system is a little different than me as a football player. I think that's going to play to her advantage a little bit better. We'll see how this all shakes out. I'm excited to see the second trial of this and to see if those 10-second transitions end up making the test a bit more manageable. We would love to hear your guys' feedback as well if you go ahead and give this test a try. All right, so here comes trial 2.